happy to be here again with the team. So my presentation this afternoon is titled Beyond the Safety Gear, Recognizing and Responding to Socio-Economic Stress. And before I go into it, I'd like to read a comment sent in by one of my friends from Ghana when he saw the flyer. He said, I have a site with 550 construction workers, from trained engineers to admin staff to illiterate laborers. The incident trend is clear. I record more near misses and silly first aid cases when there are salary delays and issues of unexplained deductions from employee salary. The link between site incidents and socioeconomic stress cannot be underestimated. So that is what we're dealing with this afternoon. Let me see if I can put on my camera. Okay, great. So that's what we are trying to review this afternoon, and we're going to see how it affects our work and what we can do about it. So we are going to look at a few definitions. We are going to look at what workplace safety is about very briefly. We are going to look at some socioeconomic issues, the reason why we are focusing on them, and what socioeconomic stress means. We're going to look at some symptoms of socioeconomic stress and the impact of ignoring socioeconomic stress, and we'll come and look at how to deal with it. So talking about the definitions, the first thing I want to talk about is the safety gear, because we are looking beyond the safety gear. So in a gathering like this, it's like when the choir is doing the rehearsal, all the parts are complete, everybody is singing right, the instrumentalists are playing right. So I don't need to define what the safety gear is to this team. We know it more than most other people can. Then we'll talk about stress. So stress is what everybody feels from time to time. There's a workload, a lot of workload. There's all kinds of things from the society. Petrol prices have gone up. The exchange rate is fluctuating. All kinds of things can cause stress for us. It could just be toxic workplaces, financial stress, home stress, all kinds of things. So that's what stress is about. And then socioeconomic has two words in it. The first one is the social. So I put a picture of people, which is about people. The second one is the economic, which is about finances. So when you talk about people, you see all kinds of things, especially with social media these days. Somebody said he happened to be the first person to get in a plane during boarding. He quickly sat down, took a picture, and posted it on social media, flying private. And people began to ask questions, where are you going? Where did you get it? And all kinds of things. So we can see socioeconomic stress from different perspectives. Then talking about the economic, you look at financials, macroeconomics, you look at the whole nation. Even if you are fine, the fact that inflation rate is getting higher is a concern to you, because you don't know at what point it's going to begin to pinch you. The fact that exchange rate is changing every day is a concern. So somebody changed money at changed to dollars at 1,700 and told me that she needed to change again, and the next day it was 1,800. I say, forget about it, don't change anything. So all those kinds of fluctuations could impose some stress on us. But we don't talk about this in the workplace most of the time. So what is workplace safety all about? We talk about risk management. So we talk about hierarchy of controls, elimination of the risks. We talk about substitution. We talk about engineering controls, administrative controls, use of PPE. So once we are discussing safety, those are the things that we talk about. We talk about productivity. So the operations team is arguing with the safety team that we cannot stop, and then safety is telling them that it's not safe. So all those are beautiful things we talk about. Talk about goal zero impacts, zero injury, zero impact on the environment. We talk about environmental protection. We are doing EIAs. We are doing environmental compliance monitoring. Regulators are on our neck. In Nigeria, there are new regulations coming up for environmental protection and safety. So those are our issues. We talk about compliance. State governments are coming in. Local governments are coming in. Federal government agencies are coming in. So these are the things we talk about when we are dealing with safety most of the time. Just a minute, a little glitch. Okay, so most of the time we are talking about physical things. Those are the things that constitute the safety we look at. So, but socioeconomic issues, they also affect our HSE. HSE performance in our organizations, the first thing is that they come in with stealth, just like the monkey is trying to sneak in. You don't see them coming most of the time. For example, talking about Nigeria, 28th of May 2023, I went out and I bought petrol and everything was fine. I think that was 160 something naira. And the next day, I was watching the television and somebody made the declaration and immediately prices jumped. So nobody saw that coming. But by the following week, workers started to say, we can't meet up anymore. My take-home pay cannot take me home and such. So it started to affect. Some people began to say, instead of working 8 hours, let me do 24 hours, stay at work, and then the next day I will not come so that I can save some money on transport. So we didn't see that coming. So they sometimes appear unrelated. Somebody has increased petrol price. How is that on my business in my own workplace? Dollar exchange rate is going up. How does that concern me? So as a result of this, they do not get sufficient attention. However, they have the potential to cause harm. From the comments by my friend in Ghana, he has already experienced it, and he has seen that once there's socio-economic pressure, once there are financial issues in the workplace, staff member there are more incidents, there are more first aid cases and the like. So these are the characteristics of the socio-economic issues we are talking about. But now there's renewed interest in socio-economic concerns, and we're going to look at why. So why are we focusing on socio-economic stress? The first one is recessions. And recession at this time is not just about Africa, not just about West Africa, not just about our countries here. All over the world, everybody's feeling it. In the UK, which is a very interesting community, you go in this year. For those of us that don't live there, you know how much you pay for transport per day. When you go in next year, they would have factored inflation into it, and so the price would have gone up. When you go in the following year, the price would have gone up. So in the past 2 years, everybody has been feeling all kinds of effects. In Canada, in US, the rate of borrowing has gone up. So all these have had impacts on organizations. As a result of that, people have lost their jobs. So some of us will know people that have lost their jobs. Somebody did a comparison between a recession and a depression, speaking economically. And the conclusion was that in a recession, somebody who has lost his job, but in a depression, it's you who has lost your own job. Just a little joke, but those are the things that we see in the socioeconomic landscape, which is why we are focusing on it. So at this particular time, we are seeing all these kinds of things all around us. Some time ago, I traveled to one of our West African countries, just less than a year ago. And when we got there, we asked for this. They said this was the amount. Somebody quickly converted it to Naira, say, ha. Then asked for another thing. They told us the amount. Another person converted it to Naira, say, ha. Say, better be thanking God for where you're coming from. So, but the point is that it's all across the landscape. Everybody is feeling the pinch. So I talked about currency fluctuation earlier, where you need to buy something, you need to pay school fees. Several people could not meet up with all their dollar obligations anymore. So this will certainly have an impact on several people. It means that some people will come to the office or to the workplace, and while you're talking about the work, they are thinking about probably the school fees they need to pay, hospital bills, house rent, or several other things like that as a result of currency fluctuation. So inflation, there was a joke in Nigeria recently. I'm happy that those kinds of jokes have stopped circulating. The reality is changing. So they said you go to the market, let's assume you want to buy a car tire. So while you are discussing and negotiating, if the seller's phone should ring, you tell him not to pick that call, you are paying the last price, because by the time you pick the call, he's going to drop the call and tell you that the price has gone up. So that was how bad inflation got. And it's not only here, it's all across. In Zimbabwe of recent, they launched a new currency, the ZiG, which is benchmarked against gold. That's because Zimbabwe had been topping the charts on inflation for several years. They said if you want to buy bread in Zimbabwe, you need to use a wheelbarrow to carry the money. I don't know if that is true. And that if you are unlucky, somebody will pick your wheelbarrow, pour the money away and steal the wheelbarrow. So all kinds of stories, but the point is they are all around us. And then hunger. it is said that if you have a job, you certainly have somebody calling you that they don't have food, they don't have a job, they don't have anything. Please help us. So you get to hunger, you talk about homelessness. If somebody cannot feed, he's not likely to be able to pay his house rent. So people will eventually be thrown out. And in the news of recent, we heard about the 700-kilometer highway from Lagos to Calabar that also link Republic of Benin to Cameroon inadvertently. So it's helping the whole of West Africa to connect. As a result of this highway, people are going to lose their homes. So this is another pressure. Then I talked about social media pressure earlier, where somebody got on the plane first and quickly took a picture and said, I'm flying private. So other people will begin to wonder, well, what exactly is my problem? Why am I not making progress when all my mates are making progress? So those are some of the pressures that we see. Another one is the fact that people are jetting out of our countries here, looking for greener pastures. So a friend of mine, a banker, were discussing, and we talked about the fact that people are leaving. So I said, how are you coping in your bank? Say, Larry, we have given up. We are not recruiting again this year. That was last year. And that was probably about September. I said, why? She said, we recruit somebody today. The person collects salary for 3 months. The person leaves. We recruit another person, collects salary for 3-4 months. The person leaves. And it kept on happening like that. So by September, October, they had decided to not recruit again for 2023. So what will happen to the workload of that department? It means that the few people that are left will have to carry more. So these are some of the effects that we see. I just wrote an interesting relationship here. Said, I wonder why engineering stress and pressure have the same unit, which is Newton per meter squared. So there was a demonstration, there was a protest in Abeokuta in Nigeria recently, and one young man was speaking on the TV. So he was trying to explain what was happening. After a while, he said, I cannot speak English again. There's pressure. So this is a relationship between pressure and stress on the lighter note. So what is socio-economic stress? They are the pressures and anxieties that arise from financial difficulties in from different perspectives. Talking about school fees, I was with a friend who owns a school some time ago. Then she met a teacher, a co-teacher, a fellow teacher, and they were discussing. So she said, at one point, she just said, parents don't understand. They are not fair. So I did not get the context of discussion. So I said, but you're a parent. What exactly is the problem? She said, no, it's not like that. We are speaking from the perspective of the teachers and the school owners. So financial difficulties, parents are kicking back that, no, you cannot increase the school fees. And they are saying that we have to increase the school fees because we have to run generators, we have to pay teachers, we have to run staff buses, and the price of everything had gone up. So these are some reasons for financial difficulties. Someone still sent me a text message earlier today saying so person is resuming our school tomorrow. That was all the message. So we feel that. Then there is job insecurity, because in Nigeria, for example, in the past 4 weeks, the rate of borrowing has gone up by 6% in 4 weeks. The first one was 4%, then 2%. So I've experienced this before. So I called one of my friends that we've been discussing borrowing, and I told him that, watch out, it's going to happen now. The CBN has increased the rate by 4%. We're going to feel it. So shortly after, he said he had got the mail. Okay. Then I told him later, 2% is coming again. He said they had decided to adopt the strategy of the ostrich. Just keep your head in the sand and forget what's happening around you. So I don't know if that solves the problem anyway, but as long as you have the capacity to accommodate it, it's fine. These are the sources of pressures and anxieties around us. So job insecurity, because of rising cost of borrowing, there are companies that will close down. There are companies that are going to declare bankruptcy, which means that people are going to lose their jobs. Housing concerns and other social determinants of health. So these stressors can affect a worker's mental and physical health, leading to increased safety risks. So even in places that are not safety critical, you are sitting down in an office with your colleague and you are talking, then you have to call the person. Let's say his name is Shegun. Shegun, 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 you are not listening to me. Shegun is right in front of you, but Shegun is far gone. So imagine that Shegun was actually working at height at that moment and then thinking about the fact that schools are resuming on Monday and today is Saturday. So some of the symptoms we see of socioeconomic stress, some of them are behavioral, such as increased irritability, fatigue, or withdrawal. So this could be seen at home. Like I said, schools are resuming on Monday in reality in many communities. So a parent is lying down and the child jumps on the parent and says, what is it? Come on, go and sit down somewhere else. But it's not really about the child. It's because of what the parent was thinking about at that moment. There are difficulties concentrating or making decisions. There are changes in sleep patterns. So I had a discussion with some friends this week, and I said, a particular year, I buzzed a friend at 4 a.m. and he answered me. Now, I was awake for a reason I can't remember, but he was awake because he had just lost his job and I did not know. So these are things that could affect sleep patterns, because this guy couldn't sleep because he needed money to feed his family, take care of house rents and things like that. So some people react the other way. They sleep more. So it's like somebody is broke and that person eats more than he would have eaten if everything was fine. On the other hand, some other person may be broke and say that, come, I don't even want to eat. So we talk about changes in appetite, increased reliance on alcohol or drugs, absenteeism or presenteeism, which will both lead to decreased productivity. So absenteeism is the person is away from the office and or from the workplace and unproductive. Presenteeism is the person is at the workplace yet unproductive. It's a case of, you people want me to be here, right? I'm going to be here, but nothing is going to get done. So another category of symptoms, the mental and emotional symptoms, such as anxiety, worry, and feeling overwhelmed. So you could get a call, I don't even understand what is happening. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. All kinds of reactions. There's also mental fog, difficulty concentrating, increased forgetfulness. So you get up from your seat, you're going to pick up something, you walk out the door, and you're asking yourself, why did I get up? What was I going to pick? So those are some of the possible symptoms. Irritability and mood swings, increased anger or frustration, depression, feeling hopeless, loss of motivation, withdrawal, isolation, all kinds of unpalatable things. But the interesting thing is that we don't generally talk about these things, but yet they have such an impact on our HSA performance. They will talk about physical symptoms such as fatigue and decreased energy levels. We talk about headaches, muscle tension, body aches, weakened immune system, gastrointestinal problems such as ulcers and digestive issues, all kinds of issues about what we don't even discuss. And there are the indirect symptoms such as changes in work performance. You give a task to some people and then you yourself will attest to the fact that no, it's not the same person that did the job, because maybe the performance is so poor. I ask person, what's happening? I don't even understand. Or increased errors or not meeting deadlines, things that were very easy for the person. You can attest to the fact that this guy is good, he is capable, but something is certainly wrong. Increased conflict with colleagues and supervisors. I was in an office one day where our boss, he told somebody in my presence, you are lucky that we're in the office. I would have slapped you. So those are some things we see as a result of pressures, stress, which could be socio-economic. Then there are financial issues, frequent borrowing, complaints about wages. Recently or sometime in the past, in the community, we started talking about loan apps. Loan apps on Android. You download the app, they tell you can give you a loan, you take the loan, and then people that really needed to take the loan because they probably didn't have food or whatever, they also could not pay back those loans. So the loan apps will now begin to send messages to their friends and family, because the loan app could access their contacts and say that this man is owing, this woman is owing, he's a thief, all kinds of messages. So all kinds of reactions that we get as a result of this. So ultimately, socioeconomic stress will lead to accidents, will lead to rework and waste of resources. So what could be the impact of ignoring socioeconomic stress? Increased accidents and injuries. At least in my few years, I've heard of 2 situations in which a driver parked to wait for somebody, and by the time it was time to move, the driver was dead. At least I've heard of 2 of such situations. Just parking. The person was driving and they decided, stop, let's wait for this person, and they parked, and then the driver could not move anymore. So these are real issues. They lead to increased accidents and injuries, reduced productivity and concentration, absenteeism and presenteeism, higher healthcare costs, as we can see. Once there are more accidents, there'll be higher healthcare costs, and they also lead to increased employee turnover. During the 2020 COVID lockdown. It was like the whole world suddenly opened up to us. At IOSH, we're having physical meetings. We have been having physical meetings for years. They were fun. You met everybody. I used to tell my colleagues in the office that if anybody is a safety professional in Nigeria and I can't reach the person with 3 phone calls, the person must be fake. If I don't know the person, that is one. I don't know the person, and I call one person in IOSH group and the person does not know the person, and we call one more person and that person does not know the person, and we call one more person and we still don't know the person, that person cannot be one of us because we're meeting and we're enjoying all that. So suddenly we could not meet again. We took the meetings online and there were several webinars, there were several opportunities to to engage, to learn, and we took advantage of every one of them. Sometimes you are joining webinars on 2 devices, and we dragged on like that for a while. But till after a while, everybody said, stop, 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 stop. I can't go on like this. The stress is too much. It was called Zoom fatigue then, right? Zoom fatigue came setting, and then so we had to stop all those things. Work. I used to keep earphones in my cars. So like sometimes I have to go and pick children from school and somebody suddenly comes. So it's supposed to be break time. Somebody suddenly calls me that there's a meeting you need to join now. So I join, and while I'm waiting for the children, I'm responding, I'm doing everything on my phone. So we lived like that for a while. Then after COVID, as a result of this stress in communities like in the US, people began to leave their jobs. People could not cope anymore. This is talking about employee turnover. People just started leaving their jobs. It was called the Great Resignation. So one question then was, where were these people going? And it was observed that they were not going anywhere. People were resigning from their jobs to go and sit at home because they were stressed. They had had it. So these are real situations around us. So dropping the bad news now, what's the way forward? How do we tackle this situation that is prevalent? The first thing is that we need to develop a work environment that prioritizes employee well-being. We need to foster trust and respect among colleagues and supervisors. There is McGregor management theory, theory X and theory Y. So when we're learning about this, what we were told was there are 2 types of leaders. Some leaders are theory X and some leaders are theory Y. Theory X leaders, the way I remember it, they cancel you. They just put an X on you. You don't want to work. You are lazy. You don't want to come to the office. They just see everything wrong about you. So they have to put you under a lot of pressure, disturb you so that you can get your job done. Theory Y leaders, they say yes to you at all times. Say, let's give this job to, let's say IJ. Let's give this job to IJ. I say, are you sure IJ can do it? Yes, she can do it. And so the person campaigns for IJ, they give the job to IJ, and he calls IJ. IJ, I've just done something. I've told them that you can do this job. So please don't disappoint me, get the job done. And the person moves on because he believes that IJ can do the work. So those are 2 different kinds of leadership styles. But when McGregor propounded but put forward this management theory, his point was not to say there are 2 types of leaders. His point was to say that everybody should move from theory X to theory Y, because when you trust people, when you believe in them, when you encourage them, they are going to do their best not to disappoint you. And in my work years, I've experienced this. I had a boss, my first boss in the organization which I work. He's retired now. He was complete theory Y. He doesn't want to see you. He will not call you. He will not ask about your work. The only thing he needs from you is that the day he needs a deliverable, just make sure it is there. There's no quarrel. You want to go and leave, no problem. Who is going to cover for you? Perfect kind of person you want to work with. And I told myself while preparing for this that I was quite loyal to that man for 17 years. Even when we were not working together again, I kept in touch with him because he was such a great leader. So we need to foster trust, respect among colleagues and supervisors. Then we should promote work-life balance. We should deal with flexible schedules, telecommuting, childcare options. So telecommuting is an interesting word. What we call a work from home is called telecommuting. It's commuting, ideally. I have a friend in the UK. He got a call. They needed the skill somewhere, but it was in another city and he wasn't going to move. So, but they really needed him. They encouraged him. They pleaded, we really want you to come and work with us. I told them the commute will be too great. This is not the right time for me to leave my family. Okay, come every day. Come to the city. Come by train. We're going to give you so amount to cover your costs. I said, no, it's not just about the cost. It's also about the time. Finally, they told him that, okay, The moment you check into the train, the moment you get on the train, that's when we start counting your work hours. At that point, he took it. So that's an example of telecommuting. He could actually sit in the train and continue his work, and that worked for him. So promote work-life balance in some environments, especially in Lagos. I know some organizations where they have flexible resumption time. So you can resume between 6:30 and 9. Just count your 9 hours, 9 hours because of 1 hour break. And after that, you can close. So that makes life easy for everybody. Also, we need to provide employee assistance programs with confidentiality guaranteed. So we tell our employees, if anybody feels stressed, if you feel that something is going wrong, call this number, talk to this counselor. Nobody's going to your confidentiality is guaranteed. Yes, that kind of idea. I know one organization where when the way they apply this to drug and alcohol policy is that you are not expected to do drugs, you are not expected to use alcohol while on duty. If you do have a problem with drugs or alcohol, please report yourself. If you report yourself, we'll take care of you, we'll take care of your medicals, take care of your rehabilitation, we'll not fire you, everything will be fine. But if you are caught, you are gone. So you can weigh the options. So the point is we can create such programs for our workers so that they can speak up and find solutions to such problems of socioeconomic stress. Another one is that supervisors and safety professionals should be trained to observe potential signs of stress. An example is the fact that you can attest to the fact that this guy works fine, this guy delivers, but he seems to be absent-minded these days. He does not meet deadlines. What exactly is happening? You don't need to push him like if you're your ex-leader. You can actually call and discuss what's the problem, how can we do better? So we can develop a work environment that prioritizes employee well-being to deal with socioeconomic stress. Another point is to offer personal finance programs. I enjoy talking about money. I enjoy talking about it. So you can set up debt management workshops. I mentioned now that in Nigeria, in 4 weeks, the interest on bank loans have gone up by 6%. So some people don't know how to manage this. Some people know how to manage this. You could call your staff members and discuss how do we help? How do you help you? What exactly are you going to do to get out of this situation? I know a particular year, that was probably 2016 or 17, bank loan rates also went up there, and some people's salaries were practically wiped out. That at the end of the month, they had nothing to go home with because the deductions went up. So we should also organize financial literacy training. We may think it's not a big deal to discuss money, but everybody is here because of money at the end of the day. So it's very important to us. We can discuss budgeting and financial planning resources. We can discuss benefits. We can explore benefits and partnerships with organizations offering discounted services such as legal aid, budgeting, and bookkeeping apps. What can we do together? If we advertise for you, can you give our staff members an opportunity to test? Can you give them what do they call that, testing period or something like that for the first 3 months or something? So everybody gets to learn, everybody gets an advantage from that. So these are some of the things that we can do. So once upon a time, that was probably 2009 or 10, I used to host weekly safety meetings, and I hosted a safety meeting that was titled The Benefits of Savings. So I got a presentation slide from there was an Yahoo group, the Universal Safety Professionals. So people used to share information by email. So I got this presentation slide on benefits of savings. It was done by a staff of KPMG in Uganda, and I found it very good. So one Friday, I just came up, the title of the safety presentation today is Benefits of Savings, and I talked about the whole thing, and it was beautiful. I know the moment I finished like this, say any question, somebody's hand just went up like with a spring, say yes. He said, I thought this is supposed to be a safety meeting. So why are we discussing finance? And immediately 2 hands also went up immediately. It was like, Larry, you're not going to need to defend yourself. First person said, you have given him everything. You have designed a safe workplace. You have provided PPE. You give rest breaks. But this guy's finances are bad, so he cannot concentrate on his work. He's still going to become a hazard. So I didn't have to say anything that day. It means that really these are things that we need to discuss. So another one is to build resilience, develop coping mechanisms, personally, communally. What can we do? Promote healthy lifestyle habits, including exercise, healthy eating, and sleep hygiene. When talking about COVID again, at that period, there were several of my colleagues that said they were not able to sleep well. meetings were running till 10 p.m. After all, you are not driving, you're probably lying on your bed and doing the meeting. So the meeting, everything just became extended and it began to affect people in different ways. Yet at this time, neighbors came together, let's go for a walk. At 6:30, people are marching out on the road. And you actually look out of your window, you see so many people walking. So I tend to miss those days. Those are things that we can bring back. We can exercise together. We can monitor our eating habits and such. Then consider offering stress management workshops or mindfulness training. I've been at one of such stress management workshops before. We exercised. It was revealing. In fact, one of the things I found out because of the physicals was that my bathroom scale at home had been deceiving me for years. It was underreporting my weight, and not only me, of everybody in the house anyway. It was taking off about 2 kilograms. So when I got to this workshop and they checked my weight, I was very vocal about it, saying, no, something is wrong with your scale. So they went to bring another scale, and then it's read the same thing. And I had to go and sit down and say, something is wrong somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where. So, but it was a good time. The experience was good. I learned a lot about how to manage stress, how to manage myself. So we could do this for our workers, and they are really going to appreciate it. We should also encourage open communication and peer support networks. I've made friends in IOSH. So in several places we can make friends where we can discuss. When I'm speaking to a professional, the way we speak is different. So the way we speak is different. So that way you can share the same points and it's going to make sense a lot more. So we need to develop such coping mechanisms. We need to build resilience. So this is the end of my presentation. However, I have a few discussion points, knowing that some of us are going to find this very useful for in our organization. So I put some discussion points here which we can use you can discuss potential challenges in your safety meetings and solutions for implementing these strategies in your specific workplace. You can encourage personnel to share real life examples of how they have recognized and responded to socio-economic stress. So I talked about the increase in bank loan rates because I had been through it before. I knew what to do. So I called my friend, we discussed this is the best way to handle this thing. So those things we could share and they'll be of benefit to workers. You could brainstorm on ways to raise awareness about mental health and well-being resources available to employees. And you could also talk about to explore partnerships with local organizations. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Larry Fatokun, for that insightful session. We are deeply grateful for this session. At this point, I'll be leading us to the question and answer session. Okay, so I'm sure we took notes right here. I was taking note of what he was sharing with us. And I'm sure for your own end, you also took notes. So please, if you have questions, please indicate with a raise of hand and I'll call on you. I know about around 49 to 50 persons on this call. So please just indicate, we'll do this orderly, indicate, and then I call on you to ask your question. Okay, do we have any question from anyone, please?
There is a hand up.
All right, I see a hand up now. That's Oluwafemi Matthew. Please, you can ask your question. After that, Oluwafemi Abiodun will be the next. Please go ahead and ask your question, Oluwafemi Matthew.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My question is based on in a situation whereby a worker asks for a salary raise and the organization asks him or her to leave because he or she asked for a salary raise in this recession period, what do you think the person should because at the end of the day, the person is like, he's very depressed, and I just told him that just calm down. Probably they didn't know your value, and somehow they will still get back to you. So I would like us to deliberate on this and probably see how we can treat this in our various organizations. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your question. I'll be handing over to our speaker, Mr. Larry, to help answer that question.
Okay, thank you very much. So the first thing I would say is that if somebody else has a better answer than mine, please don't hesitate to share it. So because of the economic situation which we are in, I think it is better for us to ask for raises as a team rather than one person. So if somebody's mic is unmuted and it's okay, so if we come together as a body of employees to say that there's a problem, give us 2% across board, give us 5% across board, it will not be easy to pick on one person. So I could imagine that in this organization, they decided to just make a scapegoat out of that one person so that the others won't come forward. So my advice would be that since it's a general problem, we can explore working together as a group of employees rather than only one person going to ask for a raise. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. We should do it as a group, not as an individual. All right. So I'll be calling on Idion Jest Ekanem to please ask your question.
My hand is still. I still have my question. No?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, all right.
Olufemi, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice presentation, Larry. That was wonderful. So my question is also similar to that of the first individual. In a situation where the management is also undergoing socio-economic stress, trying to figure out how to ensure that the business does not run down, what would you advise them to do to be able to manage their own socio-economic stress as well as that of their staff?
Okay.
Okay, thank you
Thanks for
very
your
much.
question.
So the questions are suggesting that we're actually feeling the pinch already and nobody said anything about it. Okay, so management is undergoing stress, trying to save the business. And what do we do about it? If you ask me, I'll tell management to be open. Let staff members know that you are going through something. Let everybody know that, see, if you guys shout too much, all of us are going down with this ship. So calm down. Let's find a way around it, and we are going to be better off at the end of the day. I'm going to give you an example from former Governor Fashola. So he was speaking at a leadership conference some years ago, and he talked about his law firm. Said when they started the first year, they did not make enough money, but they went to borrow money to pay salaries, and the staff members knew about it. He mentioned the number of years, more than 10 years. Then not a single person had resigned from that organization. So if the people see that management is committed, they are doing their best, but things are tough, I think we are going to be patient, because 50,000 naira salary will be better than company going down and not getting anything at the end of the day. So I'll say that management should be open about it. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Larry. Over to Idion Jest Ekanem for your question, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Larry, for such a wonderful presentation. I'm a new BB in safety, and I've been having this issue. I'm in the construction section. So I've been noticing.
You seem to be very low.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
His audio is low. Yeah, I have to increase your audio, please.
Can you hear me now?
Well, I don't know if your mouth is far from the mic or from your headsets. Yeah, better now.
Is it better now? It's better now.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
So,
yes,
okay. So I've been having these mental stress, mental health issues in the workplace that I'm currently overseeing. Please, I just want to find out what are the basic, outside the basic, what else can I do to help the workers to check their mental states while working? I have a lot of fatigue on site and everything. I don't know whether that's related to what we had. I see it's like a stress that will bring out some economic, socio-economic problem for them at the long run. So just need some tips from professionals on how to go about discussing this during my safety meeting with them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said earlier, if everyone has a better answer, please don't hesitate to contribute it. So I found out that mental health issues they have dimensions that most of us cannot relate with. Like a friend was suffering from depression, and she told me that sometimes it gets physical pain. So I really cannot understand because I've not been through it. So what I would encourage is that if you find out that there are mental health issues, get the people to see professionals, to see doctors who can properly take care of the situation. So on your own side as a safety professional, encourage work-life balance, encourage people to take their breaks as at when due. One of my colleagues went on leave recently, and before she went on leave, she was not smiling again. She was quarreling with everybody, and then she came back from leave and she was smiling. I was like, wow, we should have mandated you to go on leave since. So those are some of the things that we can do as safety professionals. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Larry. Over to you, Mr. Fatu Mohammed. Your hand is up. Mr. Fatu, are you there?
Hello. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I would like to actually give an answer to the first question.
Okay.
As a group management to make your request known, it's better you go on with a legal backing. So one of those legal backing is that according to the particular edict, it says that each and every one of us have the right to collective bargaining agreement, CBA. That is, you have a right of association, and you kind of find a union that's in your own realm. In my own industry, it's called the Pengasan and the Nupeng. So we can go under these bodies and actually make our demands known to our management. I would prefer that the questioner actually look at their industry and look at the union that is responsible for the industry and find a way of joining that union. Usually, when you join a union, you start by contributing. That contribution that you make makes you a part of the union. That's for the first question. Now, for the second one, what we're talking about, when Mr. Larry actually mentioned that when management commits and makes you know how well they are committed to the job, it makes people fall in line. I belong to one organization, PLC, before I came to my current place of work. At a point in time, an analysis was run for the CEO of the company that with the way it's going, I think was it 2017, it was run that if the business is to survive, he must lay half of the workforce off. So when he received the report, he discussed with the middle management guys, and he told them, "You guys do not know the concept of a blessing. That for every person that I pay, lay them up, calculate that number by 10. So this is what we are going to do. I am going to take a pay cut. Starting from me, I'm taking to take 50% pay cut. And the minimum is going to get to the fifth person is 20%. Whereby starting from 50 to 20 on the tube. You know what? When the recession became was getting back out of recession by 2017, he paid back that amount that was cut, the pay cut, and the kind of organization I would think about leaving, except maybe when you make the position some other factors. So thank you very much. I just want to point this out there. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fatu, for that valuable addition and insights. Okay, we're going to move to the next person quickly. That's Richard Ude. You can go ahead to speak, please. Ask your question.
My own contribution in the area of mental stress and emotional observation, we have to think about the emotional intelligence. I could recall I'm a fire marshal and I do anchor.
I'm not sure I can hear you. Am I the only one not hearing Richard?
Same here also, I can't
No,
hear
we can't hear him anymore.
Okay.
Network on the farm.
Okay. Who else have a question or a contribution? Brenda Bassi, do you want to say something? Do you have a contribution or a question?
Yes, I think I have a contribution. Sorry for where I am. I'm inside the bicycle. What I want to say, if you look at the job stress analysis of what the management wants from you, it makes you want to work more and more. And at the same time, they don't give you that space to rest within your job. Because I'm a safety expert. I always tell my management that sometimes the workers are tired. They need to rest at least, even though within the work, 1 hour rest, create a resting space for them. At least once they rest and they are up to the job, they will work diligently and the stress will have been reduced during that period of working hour. But most organizations doesn't want to give the rest. They want you to work all through your 8-12 hours. Then it creates more mental disorder for the workers. It doesn't give out his maximum potential towards the job. That's my contribution. So management should understand human perspective towards job, workplace. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda, for that contribution. The management have a crucial role to play to ensuring we manage socio-economic stress. Okay, so I'll move quickly to Wajutome Obiriko. I'd like us to know we have 7 minutes to go, so we need to make it brief and just go straight to the point. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So first of all, it's good that we're having this conversation because some of our bosses are here, my supervisor is on this call. And then you look at the whole idea around this, I'm even forced to ask, what can the safety department even do in helping this situation? Because we all work in organization, and no matter how much you push at a level in the organization, right? There is little or nothing even your GM can do when it comes to these issues of recognizing and responding to socioeconomic stress, because even when the GM recognizes it, how far can he push to see that solutions are preferred, even when trainings are done and discussions are had? So my question is, there are staff in different categories, right? And when you have staff at some level of category that cannot either fall under a union, right, to request for pay rise, and however, when they go to ask for pay rise individually, they are either bully or used as scapegoat. What would be the best approach to such a situation?
Okay, I don't know if that's the question you just asked. I didn't get that clearly because your audio was breaking. I don't know if our speaker heard you from his own hand. The last statement you made was like a question. I don't know if you got that.
Okay, yes, I heard him. He talked about, he's
All right.
asking what organizations can do, what the safety department can do. And he said that his supervisor is also in the call. So that makes it easier for you with two of you pushing the points. I think you should be able to get things across. So I believe that the presentation slides will be shared, and we have discussed some of these points which you'll be able to implement. I put discussion questions at the back and several other things that will be able to help you. And the other thing which we have also said earlier is that we should work as a team. We should come up with some of these demands as a group rather than going as only one person. I also said a few questions ago that we should consider ensuring work-life balance in our workplaces, encourage people to go on leave as and when due, and we should make sure that people can take rest breaks during their time of work. So these are things which you just need to push in your organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larry, for emphasizing on those points again. So I'll call on Victor Isume quickly. Victor, please go ahead and ask your question or your contribution.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you from my end.
Okay. I want to say a very big thank you to Larry for coming up with this presentation. It's been very fantastic It's been very educative as well. So I actually have a question. I work within the construction industry, and I have actually come to a factual point that socio-economic stress is actually very, very rampant within that industry. And I've also come to a realization that most management actually don't live up to their duty of care, mostly when it has to do with excessive workload on workers, extended work hours. This aspect of managing work tend to expose a lot of workers to socio-economic stress. Now, my question is this: how do we think, as professionals, how do we think we can really put this across to the management to see this as actually a problem that has to be solved to minimize workers' exposure to socio-economic stress? Because why I am so bothered about this is, about a few days ago, one of our workers that was actually working on a night shift took ill and went out of the site to get medication. And unfortunately, he was exposed to hoodlums. He was stabbed ferociously, and the guy is actually, his life is actually hanging in the balance as I speak with you. So these things are actually major issues to me, because before they started the shift, I made mention to the management that we need to consider the importance of putting things into proper places, conducting a thorough risk assessment to see how comfortable it is for these guys to engage in this work and on that shift. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Victor, for sharing that on your question. I'm sure Mr. Larry will respond to the question you asked. Over to you,
Okay.
Mr. Larry.
Okay, thank you very much. So one way to convince management is with statistics. Statistics are terrible. We say that fatality is not a number; it is a human being. So already you have the statistics to share with your management to show that something has to be done to improve the situation. So talk about the direct and indirect costs of this unfortunate incident, and then present it to them and profile alternatives with cost-benefit analysis. Because if you just go ahead and you speak about safety and you forget to talk about the cost and the benefits, it may not be acceptable. So you have the statistics now, do a cost-benefit analysis, give alternatives, and present it. I'm sure they are going to listen to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Mr. Larry. Using statistics can help motivate management to do the right thing. Okay, so the last person I'll be calling, because we have a few seconds to go, is Mr. James Adenuga. Please make it very brief, because our time is fast spent. Over to you.
Yes, thank you so very much. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. I want to salute the presenter today for sharing and bringing to light this very salient and latent subject matter. So it's quite beneficial. Thank you so very much, Larry. I just got two quick comments to make. So first is to in regarding workplace, how we keep the momentum up on this subject matter, is that sometimes some of us will not even know what our various organizations have in terms of support systems. We don't know. As little as, I think in Larry's submission, he talked about EAP, Employee Assistance Program, where people can call in and it's unanimous, you can share your issues and get help, right? People don't know. And then the second one, which is the last point, is as professionals, IOSH professionals, in our own small way, we actually could keep these discussions up. Recently, in one of our weekly meetings in my team in the office, usually when we open this meeting, we start with most safety moment, and we just generally talk about, what's going on generally and what affects people. And the subject matter was really around how do you really thrive in this situation of economic challenge, family, work. And it was very interesting how people had various kinds of experience, even as little as water, power. So I think the key thing is also talking about this at the level of colleagues that you share professional relationship with, so that because that's your immediate support structure, apart from your family, your community, and professional, So I think is raising this as an issue, keeping the momentum of this, knowing that there's actually help out there. Let's be vulnerable to our colleagues, because this has some immediate support structure, and then we can also then be useful to our larger organizations or larger professional community or larger society, for that matter. So we can also be part of the the solution. So thank you so very much. I don't want to waste any more time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adenuga.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you for that contribution.
Vice Chair, can I say a few things before?
All right.
Conclude.
All right, Chair.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Lanre, for the presentation. I think we can all relate with this topic. If you are directly dealing with employees, you really know that socio-economic stress is very real. I remember a case where a mechanic lost his arm while repairing, during a repair operation. His arm was trapped between the jaws of the dredger bucket he was repairing, and he lost his arm. And when we asked why he left his hand, he forgot to remove his hand in between the jaws of the bucket. He said he actually forgot himself, that his mind was not there. And what was the issue? He was thinking about his father's burial, and it was, financial issues. So that was really unfortunate. And I think, as emphasized by the presenter, it is time that we begin to really bring up financial intelligence as part of, ways of educating employees. Your company will pay you, but they will not teach you how to spend your money. Sometimes it's not as if people don't really receive enough money, but it's because we lack financial intelligence and we don't know how to really manage money. People don't know how to save. So I think financial literacy should begin to be, front burners in our two boss talks, as proposed by our presenter. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, our chair, for that contribution. Financial intelligence. That's one key take home for me. Okay, so within our team, we should start encouraging people to start thinking of financial literacy in all that they do. All right, so we'll be moving to the next point on the agenda. And at this point, I will be sharing, appreciating our presenter for taking this time out to speak to us or present to us this topic, which has been insightful. Mr. Lanre, on behalf of the North Central District, will be presenting this certificate of appreciation. On behalf of the West Africa branch, we'll be presenting this certificate of appreciation to you. Okay, so this is a certificate of appreciation and has been awarded to Larry Fatokun from the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health for the facilitation of our North Central District on the 20th April 2024 network meeting on Beyond the Safety Gear, Recognizing and Responding to Socio-Economic Stress. Okay, and this is signed by the Chief Executive of IOSH, Vanessa Wicha. All right, so thank you, Mr. Larry. This will be sent to you by our chair or by the secretary to be sent to your mail. I want to really appreciate you for your time with us and for taking us through this presentation. Thank you, sir. Okay, so I'll be calling on the next person to take it off from here. And that should be the secretary, the North Central secretary, okay, to take it from here.
Yes, we will move on to network discussion now. So I will be handing over to the North Central Chair. We'll be having a network meeting discussion, introduction of the co-opted committee member and the membership drive and concession. Chair, sir, over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kennedy. We should have a review of the last minute before that. I think you can just do a recap of our last minute of meeting.
Okay, if your slides are ready, you can go on while I get mine.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining this call today. And once again, we want to appreciate our presenter, Mr. Larry. That was very beautiful presentation and very, very informative. These skills are really very useful at such a time as this. So we are grateful for making yourself available for us today. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Larry. At this point, we want to inform us, the House, that IOSH has co-opted 2 committee members to North Central District. So we have 2 new committee members joining us in IOSH West Africa, North Central District. And I'm going to be introducing to us Mr. Vincent Idamien. Mr. Vincent, I'm sure you are on this call.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Vincent Idamien is now a member of IOSH North Central District Committee as a co-opted member. And secondly, we have Mr. Unwidu Samuel. Mr. Unwidu Samuel, I don't know if he's here, but he's here to respond to us after he was co-opted. But right here we have Mr. Vincent Idamien, and I would like him to say greet the House in 1 minute. The floor is yours, Mr. Vincent.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I want my greetings to everybody. And I'm so glad to be a co-opted member to the North Central District. Yes, of course, I'm ready to serve, and I'm ready to dig in my best while serving and learning from your wealth of experience as well. Thank you very much for having me, and I do promise to give my very best towards ensuring the North Central District and IOSH West Africa gets to its peak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, you are welcome. All right, over to you, Secretary, to continue review of our last minute.
So,
okay.
Thank you very much for your. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yes, I am displaying the minutes as at the moment. I hope we can see it.
Yes, we can.
We had a meeting on the 24th of February 2024. It was a physical meeting, and in fact, the first physical meeting after the COVID pandemic. So we had about 17 participants on ground. We held the meeting at the NAV Conference Center, Kado. And in the course of the meeting, we had a presentation by Mr. Tijani A. Asuku on managing risk in change to as low as reasonably practicable. And the key points include the fact that many HSE incidents and business financial losses are directly related to the uncontrolled or poor management of minor or major workplace change. And after the meeting, questions were asked and answers were given. We also had a certificate that was presented to the presenter in recognition of what he did, of his contribution to us. And the minutes of the previous meeting was read, and there was a movement for the adoption of the minutes by Mr. Fatiu, that's the communications coordinator, and was seconded by Mr. Larry. We had updates from the region and from West Africa division, and other matters were discussed, and that session was handled by our treasurer, Mr. Henry Digu. The meeting ended at 3:30 p.m. and afterwards pictures were taken, followed by refreshment for all participants. This is one of the pictures. Thank you very, very much.
So someone who was in that meeting can move a motion for adoption of the minutes. Anyone who was in that meeting can move a motion so that we can proceed.
Yes. Go ahead. Ikechukwu's hand is up. Okay.
All right. No, sir. Okay, thank you. But I still have to do.
Okay, we're having interference. Who is?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Everyone. Yeah, my name is Ikechukwu Stephen Namchi. I was opportune to be in that meeting, and I want to move a motion for the adoption of that minute. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Can someone second?
All right, my name is Israel Ojaro. May I second? Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the minute is adopted. Thank you very much. We will proceed now to give us an update from the Central. All right, but before then, for those of us who are maybe new to IOSH, we need to inform us that IOSH, the vision of IOSH is a safe and healthy world of work. So I will take you through very briefly IOSH in brief. Second, can you stop sharing so that I can share my screen?
Don't, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can you see my screen? Confirm, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So, Institution of Occupational Safety and Health. The vision of IOSH is a safe and healthy world of work. And IOSH is the largest membership body for health and safety professionals. And our strategy, one, is to maximize influence and impact in global occupational safety and health, develop and recognize expertise of IOSH professionals and improve global standards, and champion the role of IOSH in social sustainability to drive business success. We also connect diverse professionals to continually develop in occupational safety and health. In West Africa, we have 4 districts, namely IOSH West Africa North Central District, and that is the district that is organizing this CPD session. We have IOSH West Africa South District, IOSH West Africa Southwest District, and IOSH West Africa Ghana District. So you can belong to any of these districts if you are from this region. What are the benefits of being a member of IOSH? IOSH is a stamp for excellence, international recognition, and you have the opportunity to learn continually or continuously and develop in this profession. We have a blueprint for your career and self-development activity. There is competency framework, we have mentoring, we have career hub, we have future leaders community, and most importantly, continuous professional development You have over 1,000 resources available for you to really continuously improve as a professional, which is very, very important. We have regular industry news and best practice, health and safety job advice. You can change your job by regularly, looking at the adverts for job placements globally, and you can apply. There is opportunity for networking with like-minded individuals. There is extra support when you need it. We have categories of membership. We have the affiliates, we have technical member, we have certified member, chartered member, and chartered fellow. And for those of us who are affiliates, we need to know that you can progress, you can upgrade to technical member and progress to certified member. And opportunities abound for us to upgrade and grow in the profession. There is provision for concessions within IOSH. For example, if your annual wages is less than £18,964, which is a Naira equivalent about 29 million annually, you can enjoy IOSH concessionary rates, either joining or renewing your membership dues. If your wages is less than £18,000, you can have 50% discount in your rate for renewing your membership. While if you are also joining from IOSH West Africa, you have a concessionary rate for joining from IOSH West Africa, which is about 30%. So these are available for us to explore and benefit from. To become a member of IOSH, just visit www.iosh.com and you can just follow the directions and you can be a member of IOSH. Thank you very much for listening. That is IOSH in brief. So over to you, Secretary, for the next item on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So we will be handing over to our central chair for the updates from the central network. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, and good afternoon to each and every one of us. Please kindly confirm if you can hear me, please.
Loud and clear.
Confirm. Okay. Thank you. Once again, I will want to appreciate Larry Fatokun for that wonderful presentation. This is a presentation that that was actually full with good and excellent sense of humor. All throughout the presentation, I was laughing. With my family here, we were just laughing, and definitely we were actually key into some points that it was actually highlighting. Thanks once again. On behalf of the IOSH West African branch, we sincerely appreciate your presentation. So I just have few updates from the central. The number one on this update is is our Ghana district meeting that is coming up next week on the 27th of April by this same time. So please let us join. The flyer for the meeting will be out during this week, and definitely on that flyer we have the registration details. So please, on the 27th of April, that is next week Saturday, please kindly join this meeting. Also, we will also be having the branch CPD and reflection section on the 11th of May, year 2024. At this, we'll be giving updates on our activities, and definitely we will be also be receiving feedback from members. And on that day too, we have one of our own, which who will be taking the CPD session in the person of Kamalu Jason. So he will be the one to actually give us a technical session on that day. So please, when the flyer of this event is out, it will definitely have the registration because it's going to be a virtual event. Let us also register for the event. It will be on the 11th of May, year 2024. So please, let's take note of this. And definitely, please, let us also be aware of our CPD and blueprint. this is a mandatory exercise that we must do. If we don't do this, definitely our membership will be degraded to affiliates. So please let us take note of this. In a year, you must complete 30 hours of CPD exercise. We do more than that. So many of us even do thousands of hours within a year. It's just for us to document it. What IOSH is requesting from us as a member is for us to document at least 30 hours of our CPD session. Like what we are doing today is a CPD session, and definitely I will definitely document this for 1 hour because this is an hour technical session. So that's, with this already, I've already taken 1 hour out of my 30 hours that IOSH has mandated in a year. So please, every IOSH member, ensure that you document your CPD on the Blueprint platform. This is very, very important because, definitely, if you don't do this, your membership will be degraded from whatever level of membership you are. Your membership will be degraded to affiliate if you don't do this within 1 year. So please, let's take note of this. So, in the absence of any other thing from my own head, I will call on the vice chair of the branch in the person of Oluwakemi Arimosoye to also give us an update. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Chair. And Larry, thanks for that wonderful presentation. I've really learned a lot, so thank you. Okay, so I'll just continue from where my chair has just stopped. As we are all aware, IOSH is still giving concessionary. So it's very important that we utilize and get this concessionary. Either you want to renew your membership or you want to join as new members. And again, if maybe you are struggling with how to pay for your dues, you can always contact Mr. Dapo Molade or anybody that has a domiciliary account to help you do that payment. Please note that the payment is based on black market rate, and that amount will be determined by the day you wish to make your payment. So, of course, if you are here to move your membership to West Africa, it's very important for you to send an email to csc@iosh.com. And IOSH will respond to you. And again, if you want to, you have been on affiliate for some time and you want to upgrade your membership, you also need to send an email to IOSH. The subject matter should be request for upgrade. So make sure you have all your certificates. Scan all your certificates in that email and send to them. So it's IOSH that will determine, based on your experience, based on the certificate you have provided, they'll determine which category that you are going to fall under. At the moment, we have a lot of our members in affiliates, which of course, being on affiliate, that means you're not utilizing your membership, membership benefit, because there are a lot of benefits that you are going to gain from IOSH. They have the mentoring platform and other platforms that you can even gain from. Also, for us in West Africa, we have 3 subcommittees, which is the membership upgrade committee. So we also have the career mentoring committee, and we also have the CPD subcommittee too. So this committee, it's at the moment we're trying to co-opt some members for those committee. So once that is done, we'll be able to communicate to everyone who are the leaders in that committee, and they're going to kickstart work. So how will they kickstart? They need to come up with the leader and the members. They need to come up with a strategy plan on how they want to help the members in West Africa in terms of their membership upgrade. Like I mentioned before, we have a lot of people still on the affiliate, so that means they don't understand the process, how to upgrade. And I'm sure most of these people have what it takes to upgrade their membership, but I'm sure that maybe they need us to inform them more often, which we're going to do soon. And then for CPD subcommittee, so that committee will be responsible to educate most of us. Of course, the blueprint became live last year, which a lot of our members are still struggling on how to use the blueprint platform. You understand? Even as at yesterday, I still received a message from someone saying, "Oh, Kemi, just could you give me maybe 10 or 20 minutes of your time for you to explain what I'm going to do on the blueprint platform?" And this is what the subcommittee members will be educating us, because they're going to log into their own portal and like let us know how to do this, that on that blueprint. And of course, they will also be liaising with the CPD head committee in IOSH in the UK. So we'll also be having from the head office to also organize some sections and all. And for the career mentoring platform, like I said earlier, so we have the mentorship platform. It's part of the benefits as a member you get. And either you want to be a mentor or a mentee, but most of us are not utilizing that, which this subcommittee will encourage people to do that. So they're going to come up with a strategy plan, but once they come up with strategy plan, of course, it will be communicated to everyone. So thank you so much, Larry, and thank you everyone for joining today's section. And thank you to Chair of North Central too, and to your entire team. Thank you. Thank you, Chair too. All right, that's all from me.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair. We want to thank everyone of us on behalf of the North Central District Committee. We want to appreciate everyone for finding time to be with us today on this CPD session. Special thanks to Mr. Larry once again, and our West Africa branch chair and the ESCO. We appreciate every one of us for being present. We are going to ask that if you have any concern, you can directly talk to us after now, because this meeting we have to close now in the next 2 minutes. So there will be a survey immediately we shut down. Please find time to complete the survey questions. Thank you and have very wonderful weekend.
And
we
please,
appreciate every one of you.
Yeah, please, let's take a snapshot of our videos.
All right,
yes.
Please, you can put on your camera so that we can have a snapshot, please. Please, we appeal to us to on our cameras at this moment. And the secretary, please, when everyone's camera is on, take a snapshot. Please, on your cameras. Mr. Secretary, can you see us?
Yes, I can see us.
Okay, please take a shot. And if you are done, you let us know.
Done, sir.
You are done. All right. Once again, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. You can unmute so that we can hear our voices as we leave the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good presentation.